I'm supposed to be playing games for myself right now, but I had to take a stop. I was finishing eating and came across this video. So in a way, this, I guess, is a reaction response video from someone known by Once Faded here on YouTube. And this is not to dunk on them or anything. They made a very touching video about how life feels different as an adult and losing that sense of childlike wonder and excitement and constantly trying to recreate those older memories, those older feelings, and that kind of thing. And frankly, it just kind of broke my heart. Beyond the video itself, there are a lot of people in the comments that connected with it, that share a similar feeling or experience, that they just can't feel good anymore. Young adult, and by young adult I mean like early to mid 20s, I guess now. Depression or apathy or disinterest in people around that age is super common, especially these days, and a lot of people connect with this kind of thing. And I feel like at this point, I am someone who is past that. I think I reached a point, late high school, early college, or all of college even, where I felt similarly. Everything just felt too heavy. Everything felt like too much, and it felt like I wasn't who I wanted to be anymore. Had too much work, didn't like my work. My jobs before I became a YouTuber, I genuinely just didn't go some days because it felt like I was going to have a panic attack to go do something I hated and be stuck there for 8 hours and just be miserable when my ADHD-ridden brain was so driven to do something else. I genuinely could not make myself go some days and would just skip and go hang out at my girlfriend's house or drive back home and make YouTube videos. And that drive wound up landing me this as a career, but for most people, the odds of that happening are very low. And that feeling was horrible. I got away with it because I managed to over-deliver on, my job requirements, what I did when I was there. Like most things I do, if I do it, I am all in. I don't half-ass anything. I whole-ass it every time. And so I got to get away with those kinds of things because I was an exemplary employee at whatever I was doing. Doesn't take much in a lot of fields, but there were plenty of times where it's just like, I just can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And I had that same feeling of depression and feeling like everything was meaningless and wanting to chase what I had before. Wanting to relive the glory days of discovering Minecraft for the first time and playing on servers with buds and playing Halo all night, every night, custom games and sweaty matchmaking lobbies and Infection and wandering through the world of RuneScape for the first time and being so obsessed with how much I'm going to sell my goods at my little good shop for. But you do get past it. Generally speaking, it is something you can get past. But what really, I guess, disturbed me about the video, and again, this is not to dunk on, but just discussing the feelings. Like, this invoked deep feelings in me, as it did plenty of people. This video got really big for such a small channel, 374,000 views. A lot of people connected with this, and I did too. Like, I have felt these things before. But one of the things he mentions in this description he gives of a constant pursuit of the past, a constant chase to recreate what he had before. The entire time I'm just like, but you can have moments now. It may take more work, but you absolutely can. And what I was getting at, what really disturbed me is he got right there. And I see this so often with everyone who connects with these kinds of thoughts. But he said, back then you weren't focused on making memories. You were just there doing it. And that is kind of the point, the antithesis to everything shared in these kinds of videos and sentiments. And it's, again, everyone feeling this is totally valid. Feeling those feelings is important in order to find the path through them. But you have to take a nugget like that, a couple sentences like that, and realize that that is the answer. The very act of trying to chase what was and recreate what was keeps you from building those memories and enjoying what is now. You are always going to look back on the past 10 years, 15 years, whatever, and miss what you had then. Whether it's the places you lived, the pets you had, the loved ones you lost, the good memories you were making that you weren't processing them at the time that you were making them. But that very act of just trying to continue to chase that feeling, it was never a feeling in the first place. That's the problem. You weren't there playing Halo 3 or Call of Duty 4 or Minecraft or whatever and thinking, oh man, these are the best memories I'm ever going to have in my life. I can't wait to look back on this in 10 years. I'm making this the best memory I possibly can. You weren't. There was no active role in that. It wasn't an effort. You were just living life. You were just taking the opportunities to do fun things that wound up becoming memories. Not everyone did. Not every memory became something special or worth holding on to. But some do. But when you remove yourself from even the capability of being in the moment, you remove the ability for those moments to have value because you weren't there. In another 10 or 15 years, you're going to look back at your time right now, and one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to continue to look back on where you are now, just, keep moving that forward. You're going to look back at where you are now, realize all the things you had that you missed, the typical Andy from The Office. I wish someone told you that, these were the good days so that you knew when you had them. Every day is the good days if you can do something meaningful with your life and just take a moment to take a walk, to look at the sky, to appreciate it, to just breathe for a minute. Any moment can be the good old days in the future if things are okay. You're either going to do that, you're going to look back at right now and be like, well, I was a dummy. I really miss those times. I miss having this or being there or this person. Or you're going to look back and be like, holy crap, I was a dummy. I wasted all of these years trying to recreate my childhood when I could have been building up these memories. And that feeling of regret will far outweigh whatever disconnect you're feeling now. The weight of that, I wish I had actually lived my life as someone who spent a long time struggling to be in the moment and to live the life. That regret weighs far more than whatever missing past moments you did live. I can absolutely promise you. You cannot recreate the past. You cannot go back and live where you were before. But what you can do is make steps to better yourself now and to better appreciate what you have now. This requires spending less time reflecting on what was before. Anyone listening, this is for anyone, like this whole video is for whoever is listening. You've probably spent enough time reflecting on what you had before and missing it. It's time to take stock of what you have now. It's time to disconnect from everything, put your phone away, turn off the YouTube videos, not record this and make content from it. Grab a pen and paper, or freaking stick a stick in some dirt or a chalkboard or something, and start listing what is good. What do you have now that you wouldn't want to let go of? A partner, a family member, a family in general, a home, a pet, living in a certain place or climate that you love, a job, being stable, not being out of a bad situation you were potentially in before. Take stock of what you have that you love now. And then you can start breaking down ways that you can maybe alter how you go about your day so that you can spend more time with it. Maybe you get up a little earlier and spend a little extra time with your partner. Or you really put in some effort towards spending more time with your family you haven't seen in a while so that you can make some good memories with them before they're gone. Spend that extra 5 or 10 minutes to actually play with your pet in between things instead of just brushing them off. Go take a walk. The power of a walk is unbelievable. If you actually just turn off your phone, breathe, listen to the environment around you, go walk through some trees. Obviously, it's real cold in most, at least American areas at the moment. So if you're in wintertime, maybe not at the moment unless you're bundled up, but go stare at the stars. Slow down. That is the biggest thing, I think. When you look back at your memories, everything feels sped up. That whole life flashes before your eyes. That's not something that happens when you die. That's something that happens every time you look back. You are given a montage, a quick cut slideshow in rapid succession of all of your highlights. And maybe some of your worst moments too. But not the mundane, not the time actually spent. And you're not even given all of those highlights. There's plenty more. But you're only going to build those up by slowing down and being in them. They wouldn't be highlights if you were just there for a few seconds at a time, or if you were rushing and being like, all right, we got to get everyone right on so we can have the best night of our lives because we're going to remember that. Like, when you try to force it, it doesn't happen. You just got to let yourself be there and experience the moment. And you never know what moment could become so special or sentimental. I think that's what so many people miss, is that sentimental moments weren't planned. Some of them are, like a proposal or something, but most sentimental moments weren't forced or planned or conceived even. They were just moments that wound up being great because you were in it. Remember to be kind. Rewind.